KUAM TVH, first on Guam. KUAM News headlines are presented by Calvo's Insurance, protecting Micronesia for 85 years. Matson and the Adahi Itano program. Apply at matson.com. Cars Plus, Guam's automotive leader in sustainability and electric vehicles. Learn more at carsplusguam.com. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Ahead on KUAM News Primetime.
Watch out for car vandals aiming to steal your gas when in secluded hiking trails like these. I'm Mitsuki Hirayama with a word of caution.
Plus, new details in the mighty shooting as defendant Mesawan Repwak faces a slew of charges, including attempted murder.
And a car thief caught in the act. Now one Tumon man speaks out hoping the community can help to track down his stolen pickup truck.
Hafide and good evening. Welcome to KUAM News Primetime. I'm Nick Delgado.
And I'm Destiny Cruz. Thank you so much for starting your week here with us.
Well, hikers, beware when parking on secluded roads. A member of the hiking community coming forward after a recent rise in car vandals, moving on from smashing windows to drilling holes into gas tanks.
Mitsuki Hirayama with a word of caution.
Avid hiker Matthew Johnson was enjoying the beautiful scenery along Poggit Trail on Mangilao Back Road early Saturday morning. Would ruin his day.
We heard halfway during our trail that there was a big smell of gas coming from the parking area up on the road. So we hurried back and sure enough found that my gas tank had been drilled.
Car vandals had punctured a hole in his gas tank, leaving behind a puddle of gas underneath his car.
Lost about 20 gallons of gas all over the ground, and I assume that the criminals got away with some as well.
And he's not the only victim. Just down the road at 1,000 steps.
They actually arrived during the crime taking place. There was gas coming out of the gas tank. They had to put their finger on to stop the flow, and while they were on the phone to the police to get them out to file a report.
The criminals leaving behind a laundry detergent bottle used to store the stolen gas, plus another victim at Agua Cove. This hiker's gas tank resembling Swiss cheese, and another, Johnson believes, even catching on fire. It's why he's spreading the word.
We're on a huge heat warning right now for the fires, extreme fire warning I think the GPD has put out. So all it's going to take is a small spark and we could actually lose a lot of the natural area that you see behind.
And a word of advice to hikers, make sure your car is not alone on the side of the road. He says there's power in numbers.
Try and go in like a larger group where there's more than one car so that they get a bit scared about it.
Meantime, Johnson says towing his car and patching the hole will cost him upwards $1,000, but that's the least of his worries.
This parking area sits above an aquifer, so anything that gets on the ground is going to run off into the water supply and cause environmental concerns.
It's a consequence not worth a few dollars of stolen gas. Mitsuki Hirayama, KUAM News.
He didn't mean to shoot. That's what a woman known to defendant Mesawan Repwak allegedly told police. He came home saying the morning a teenage girl was shot and injured in Mighty.
Repwak is being held on more than $500,000 cash bail. He, along with two others, charged in multiple recent random acts of violence, all of which police say gang-related.
New details in the shooting in Mighty that involved a 14-year-old girl. Authorities learning she was the passenger inside a car with 3 adults. They were driving along Biang Street in the early morning of May 3rd when suddenly multiple gunshots rang out. The driver sped away, hoping to get to safety, immediately unaware at first that the child was hit. The suspects then ramming their car, causing them to spin out in the parking lot of San Jose Mart. Witnesses recalling 3 suspects in a gray pickup truck and a gray sedan. The driver telling police one suspect pointed a gun at him, stating, "I'm going to kill you," before taking off down Route 8. The other suspects, armed with long objects, banging on the car window before taking off as well. The child's mother and another passenger helped the teen into the store before medics treated her. The teen suffering from a laceration on her stomach and a gunshot wound on her back. Mesawan Repwak, who also goes by AJ Jr. Jane, is charged with attempted murder and aggravated assault, both with special allegations of possession or use of a deadly weapon. Repwak allegedly denied the shooting, but court documents state a woman known to him allegedly told investigators Repwak came home crying that morning, admitting he messed up and did not mean to pull the trigger. Repwalk is now being held on a $540,000 cash bail in 3 cases filed against him. Prosecutors noting he will spend life locked up if convicted. He is also charged twice with aggravated assault in connection to a machete attack in Harmon last August. In a 3rd case, Repwalk is charged with aggravated assault, assault on a peace officer, and resisting arrest. 19-year-old Jun Monu also charged with aggravated assault and terrorizing, along with special allegation for possession and use of a deadly weapon. Both accused in the violent road rage incident in Sinahanya last Friday, the same day Repwalk was captured. Repwalk also allegedly tried to attack and bite arresting officers, later telling them he was sorry. 42-year-old Amy Jane was also arrested on multiple counts of hindering apprehension and obstruction of government functions. Authorities confirming they found multiple machetes inside her home.
And the community is on high alert. Messages going around on WhatsApp about the apparent gang activity, leaving many in fear over potentially becoming the next target.
The police department confirming they are aware of the alarming message. You can read their full statement on KUAM.com.
In other news, thieves stepping foot on Tacoma territory at San Vitor's Garden condos Friday night.
Security footage showing the moment one Tumon resident's car was stolen.
Imagine getting ready to leave your home on a Friday night, keys in hand, but when you walk over to your parking spot, your car is gone. That's what happened to Peter Wall. His white Tacoma pickup truck stolen from the San Vitor's condos on Happy Landing Road.
At first, I kind of just played back everything in my head because I was trying to process everything that was going on, making sure that I didn't make any mistakes, it was an user error.
He reported it to authorities. Surveillance footage also capturing the thief in the act.
I had an individual walking up, trying to gain access to multiple vehicles throughout the parking lot.
Just after 3 a.m. last Friday, the video showing a man in a baseball cap and what appears to be a red and white tank top wearing a backpack. The thief tries to get into other parked cars as well before eventually getting into Wall's truck. The thief getting his hands on Wall's spare keys and driving off.
You'd expect the security cam footage and the security cameras to be a better deterrent for people to come over here and break into vehicles like the way this individual did. But I guess not, and he took the risk that he did and ended up taking my vehicle. So yeah, it was pretty upsetting to see. It's just, bad people out there doing bad things. It's not the island itself, so this doesn't leave me a bad taste in my mouth with the island.
He now hopes the community can help to track down his truck. Images are circulating online to be on the lookout for a 4-door white Toyota Tacoma pickup truck with a sunroof and a Miami Hurricanes license plate in the front that reads NXLL13.
We'll be right back.
This racetrack has made it possible to make KUAM, as mentioned, a center of the world. Racers from the States, racers from Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and so on brings everything together, brings us all together in this part of the world. And that is wonderful in itself.
At Not Howie says Taco Bell only really hits after midnight, which is why I'm going to use the Cantina chicken menu to help him see the Taco Bell light.
Very juicy.
Hi. The food hits, right? Are you at Not Howie? Does it hit or does it not hit?
I'd say it hits.
Yeah, it does hit.
I can't lie.
Okay, but you did, maybe. The Cantina Chicken Crispy Taco isn't just for late night.
Welcome back to Primetime. More residents in the Northern Mariana Islands joining the Guam National Guard.
The recruiting efforts come as the CNMI aims to establish its own. Regional correspondent Tomas Menglotnia reports.
Sergeant Juan Camacho is aggressively recruiting NMI residents to join the Guam National Guard. They recently announced that Guam Guard recruits jumped from 3 to 75 in 2 years.
We are actively recruiting. There's a lot of interest in the community here in the CNMI.
Recent natural disasters and the pandemic have renewed talks about the need for the National Guard, which can be activated by the governor or U.S. president. We spoke with recent recruits who shared why they enlisted. Private First Class Rael Quezon is the first to enlist from Saipan in 2022 after 10 years. He's a graphic designer.
Better my life, I guess, just to add something new, to challenge myself, from working an office job, 9 to 5, to something that no one could ever know.
Private First Class Ana Canico is the first female to enlist from Saipan amid the renewed effort. She works for Delta Management Corporation.
Being with my civilian job for 10 years, I wanted to experience something different, something out of this island, and to be in uniform, especially because a girl or a woman or female in uniform, it says a lot.
Private First Class Randolph Ferrer enlisted while working for the Ports Police.
It was always something that I wanted to do when I was younger, but I just never really had the chance to feel that dream.
Those dreams are now a reality as the CNMI hopes to establish its own unit, which requires congressional action.
The finish line, would probably to one day have a CNMI National Guard.
Tomas Manglonia, KUAM News, Saipan.
Now for a look at your world at home.
Here's a view captured at sunset from East Agania Bay.
Welcome to Kmart, your 24-hour superstore since 1995. Always there for you day or night. At Kmart, we're committed to offering you an extensive selection of products at prices you won't find anywhere else. From the essential to the exceptional, our aisles are alive with possibility. Bloom with confidence, style, and savings this spring. Discover stylish clothing that fits your budget without compromising on quality. From trendy pieces to timeless classics, find the perfect look for every member of your family without spending a fortune. Then pamper yourself with our selection of essentials from nourishing shampoos to rejuvenating beauty products and soaps. And let imagination soar with our selection of toys and games for kids of all ages. At Kmart, experience the thrill of discovery as you explore our aisles, filled with a variety of quality products that cater to your every need. From groceries to home goods to outdoor essentials, we are the ultimate one-stop shop. Dive into an unparalleled shopping experience where quality, variety, and savings await at every turn. Shop smart, save big at Kmart, your 24-hour superstore.
Solid. Solid. Solid.
That early hour of the morning. Solid.
Solid.
Oh, yeah.
Solid.
smile on your face, the moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa, you can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
Let your people know. When it comes to the pickle to chicken ratio, some people, they playing in your face, but not the McCrispy. Let your people know. When it comes to the pickle to chicken ratio, some people, they playing in your face, but not the McCrispy.
Find a plan that goes with your flow. Get unlimited local talk, text, and data at the most affordable rate with Unlimited Flow Postpaid.
Okay, are you between 15 to 17 and looking for gainful employment this summer? The governor has a plan that you need to take part of. It is running from the 17th till the 26th of June. Make sure to apply. Find meaningful work. You can contribute to our island. Very, very cool. Make sure to get your applications in. Speaking of the governor, she is inviting you to the 26th Micronesian Islands Forum. It's on Monday the 3rd through Wednesday the 5th. This year's theme is Writing Our History, Determining Our Future, and it is at the Hyatt. And the CNMI Small Business Center is holding a forum on cybersecurity, so learn how you can lock down systems and keep your devices and networks and organizations completely bulletproof, hopefully. All right, that's what's new happening on News Bites on Monday.
Now to your birthday shoutouts,
which you can submit onto the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club on KUAM.com.
Happy 13th of May birthday to Kahapolani. Again, happy birthday, Kaha, and may our dear Lord continue to bless you with many, many more. Yes, may He shower you with an abundance of blessings. Love your fam and homies. Absolutely, Kaha. We hope you have a fantastic birthday. And a belated birthday wish going out to Mary Flores and to my wife, coming from your loving husband of 49 years. Awesome. And your children, grandchildren, and great-grands. They all say, we love you very much, and they say, with all the love in the world, God bless you always. Absolutely.
That's your primetime show. Thanks for watching.
Have a safe evening and stay beautiful.
Suki, I'm sure many of our viewers can probably pick up the audio that's coming around in our studio. The storm has arrived. Category 4 Typhoon Mawar may no longer be a super typhoon, but it is still a major cause for concern for everyone here in the territory. The storm making landfall late this afternoon. The eye of the storm predicted to hit the southern region, but it nudged it further north. We really started to see some of the worst conditions as early as 3 o'clock this afternoon. Shutters even being ripped off right off the building.
Let's take a look at video captured this afternoon just outside our Homerun studios.
1 year after Typhoon Mawar battered Guam and the Marianas, Hafide and Delgado, welcome to a special anniversary of Typhoon Mawar hitting our island here. Mightier than Mawar. It's all in the name. Hafide, to the KUAM News team here as well for joining us and sharing your experience. It's been a long time since we were hit this hard, and for some of you, never experienced it before in a day in your life. What do you recall preparations were like for you? We'll start with you, Vic.
For me, being here at KUAM for all these years, we've seen a lot of storms come through, a lot of storm watches. I participated in a lot of that. So this one was kind of different because we knew that it was going to be something that's going to hit us hard. So the preparation was a little more crazier, where you kind of stock up at home and preparing everything while you set up that and then come to work. So it was a little different from the other ones.
Well, I guess as the elder statesman now on our team, it was procedure for me because I've covered enough of these over the years. And like, Joan and I have done a bunch together. And so I was basically camped out at Civil Defense and Homeland Security for like the 3 days leading up to it, doing live streams every day, getting updates from the NWS. And yeah, like Vic said, I mean, they were anticipating, I think the specific line that NWS gave us was they're like, we're projecting this being a long day with significant destruction.
Well, like Jay said, we've experienced many typhoons, and this was actually the first one where I, waited out here at the station. So there was no one at our house, but we secured it before heading out to our respective jobs. So that was the part that was kind of, scary. But yeah, sat here through 48 hours of the typhoon. So.
Well, personally for me, I feel like I was on the flip side to this because this was my first typhoon that I experienced as an adult where I can remember what actually happened. But I definitely was not prepared for it. I remember Destiny was telling us she had like this uncanny feeling where I feel like once we come back from this, everything is going to be changed. And I didn't believe her until it happened and everything was different.
Yeah.
And similar experience with Suki. As an adult, this is my first time really experiencing a typhoon of this magnitude. And something that really sticks out to me is before the storm hit, we went out as a team to go and see how people were preparing, getting water, gassing up their cars. So did the same thing. And it was definitely an experience and a lesson learned, definitely at that.
That we don't want to do again.
Definitely not.
But we all covered the stories that happened in the days leading up to the storm making landfall and in the aftermath, and we have one of those stories to share with you right now.
Definitely one of those things that we do not want to forget is that people were touched differently by Typhoon Mawar, and one of those two of those residents that we cannot forget is Julie, Gogui, and Doris, and we check in with them a year after Typhoon Mawar.
I don't know what else to do. Like, I can't tell her that we're going to be okay because I don't know.
This was Dededo resident Julie Gogui in the aftermath of Typhoon Mawar last May, taking in the damage of the storm's wrath on the home she shares with her mother Doris. The strong winds ripping the roof off their house while rain flooded inside, leaving behind a devastating image of the haven her late father built before his passing, Mawar rendering the place unlivable.
It's just hard. It's like, she's been wondering who's going to rebuild her house because her husband's gone. I'm like, I don't know, we'll try.
Now, a year later, Julie and her mother Doris sit in front of the pink and blue painted walls of their renovated home. Julie's younger brother and his co-workers did the rebuilding, but the journey to getting their home back together was a struggle. After not qualifying for some post-Mawar services like the Rise Up temporary roofing project.
I mean, I thought the point is to fix the roof. I mean, if I'm not all damaged up there, then they'll help. But if it's totally damaged, they can't help. I don't understand that.
Their property even turning into an illegal dumping area after the storm.
When we clear it, they dump again. The cars, we clear the cars, they come take it, then they put cars again.
And yet, amid so much hardship, the duo's resilience is still unwavering. They leave this message with others on the anniversary of Mawar.
For those people out there that are still, struggling, I'm still struggling, still up to now. People are still struggling out there. Just have faith and just keep moving on. Just do what you can do.
No, I just always say just have hope. If there's a will, there's a way.
Days after Mawar, the community came together, cleaning up for each other. The effort took us to the place Delma Kaiko and her family called home.
5 houses and 7 family on the ranch. It was so hard in the beginning. When we were cleaning, it was really hard for us to rebuild it, to start all over. so hard because when we came here, there was no houses, like just one. So we have to start again to buy stuffs to rebuild the house.
Volunteers showing up was just the start.
We were able to clear their entire area in one day, and then in the following day when we went back to get the trash, we were able to take out the majority of the trash too. So it was just like a really great showing for the community.
Now, 1 year later, structures now stand with roofs over their growing families' heads. Cameron Roosevelt showed us where they are in their recovery.
That one is the one that Delma did, and this one is the one that my sister-in-law Sally did.
Talk about, was it really like months after? Did it take a while to get funds?
Yeah, it did. It did take a while after because that group Nihi, I think that's what it's called. That group Nihi helped them out with some donations and with the help, and also their claims with FEMA.
Still, getting back to the way things were before the storm is an ongoing process.
It's been progressing. So after like losing everything and then gaining back like little by little, they're actually back on their feet now.
And are you guys at 100% or are you guys still?
Not really 100%. As you guys can see, this ranch is still growing. They're still trying to build more into it's not quite finished. They're still doing little by little what they can. They're actually building it themselves. So when they have time, besides their usual jobs, they actually put more on.
Wow, a lot went down on the night of the storm, especially right here. Can you believe that this is where all of the water was coming down? It was like a waterfall, exactly where we are right here. I mean, no tickets to going to the pool at this one, right? No fares needed. It was a flood zone. Is that something you're familiar with working here as well, Jace?
Well, the kind of like the inside story that nobody out there knows is I was actually going around to like everybody here, and especially those of you that this was your first storm. And I emphatically told you guys, if you want to ride it out here, there's no place safer than to take care of yourself and your family than at KUAM. We've got good internet, we've got generators, we've got aircon. I came in the next day because it's just me and my mom, and this is the first storm, unlike Joan, that I actually went home to take care of. I came in like the next day, and I could not believe just how much damage there was. And I saw you guys like get up the next day. It was crazy.
For me, I remember, aside from like the flooding and all the water coming down, for me, it was hearing the tin outside just like scraping against the parking lot. And also like the parts where the shutters weren't really covering. You could hear like the wind going through, so it's like a howling. And it was almost like not knowing what is going on outside, and all you could do is just like sit and hear and like wait it out. And but I'm so glad that I was here with Team KUAM because I can't imagine me at home alone and going through all that and experiencing all that.
We were literally holding down the fort, but I think those words that you provided for us, Jace, did provide some comfort because we did have that confidence that things were going to hold together, even though when Mitsuki and I were anchoring that night, you could hear the entire newscast, just the rumble and the storm was here.
And there's the word together, at least everybody here, you guys all had each other.
Right, yeah, I definitely remember I was sleeping right here where we are actually on this couch, trying to take a nap with all the sounds around us. But I remember like water was falling down from our ceilings. It was coming down the walls, and then we were getting worried about the equipment. Thankfully, most of the equipment was fine. But I remember something even fell on top of our cameraman Daniel's head, but thankfully he was not injured. But it was just a scary experience overall.
Yeah, definitely. And, I was at home, thankfully, during the storm, and it's something I resonate with Joan about not knowing what was going on outside. But, I'm a very audio learner. I guess I'm an audio individual, so hearing all of that going on outside was so terrifying, in all honesty. My dogs actually went into the closet because they were so fearful of what was going on outside. So that was one thing that really stood out to me, definitely.
And in that story we just saw with you, Victorious, when you had to revisit Zero Down, incredible, incredible what we just saw, the images coming out of there in the aftermath, and great to see how they recovered, but the recovery isn't done yet.
No, not yet. And like we heard from, you know, we wanted to talk to that the individual that we talked to when we went there, but obviously she was off island with the dad, and we're doing an appointment in Hawaii. But just talking to the cousin and just seeing her telling us the process that they had to go through. You know, they had SBA here, they had FEMA, and the process that they had to go through to get those loans and get those fundings to help them, and just to see them, change up and just rebuild from the bottom up. And it was just so amazing to see how it changed from day one after until today.
Mawar did not hold back from hitting whoever it could when it came through our region. But like the title of this show, we are mightier than Mawar, and we will continue with more. Looking back 1 year later. Keep it here.
Instead of a long day of action, it was more of a late day and an overnight period of action. And it was that long duration. This was a slow-moving typhoon as it clipped over the northern parts of Guam. And so we were very fortunate that morning that people that were not in shelter early Wednesday morning, they had that little bit of window to get to shelters at the last minute. But then things rapidly deteriorated Wednesday afternoon and more so into the overnight hours.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
The Cantina Chicken Crispy Taco isn't just a late-night taco. It's a seasoned and slow-roasted chicken taco that pairs nicely with the new avocado verde salsa at any time. Introducing the new Cantina Chicken Crispy Taco, only at Taco Bell. The Cantina Chicken Burrito isn't just for late night, because it keeps it light with slow-roasted shredded chicken and finely shredded purple cabbage in a freshly grilled tortilla that's not shredded. Introducing the new Cantina Chicken Burrito, only at Taco Bell.
Jace, Mawar really took down a lot of our service capabilities here in the island. All of our networks were trying to get a hold of us. People wanted content. They wanted updates. They couldn't know how to reach us. And we didn't even know if people were watching the news that we were putting together and gathering during and after, but we did it anyway.
Yeah, and telecommunications were so essential. And, you know, we were, like you said, we were still doing our job, and we're like, we're going to put this out there. Somebody's going to see it. Everybody's going to share it. But I was literally the next day driving around all over here. I went up to the Derecho Sports Complex, going around the parking lot, finding essentially a sweet spot where I could upload that night's news that we were putting together, basically editing the whole thing in the back of my car. You know, Daniel and I were doing it with the trunk open. Just getting stuff out there because everybody wanted to know. And whether you were watching on your phone, on your iPad, if you had, 3% battery left on your mobile device, we were trying to get the word out, and we're trying to find a signal wherever we could.
Yeah, it was definitely very important to share the stories of how our community was facing the aftermath of the typhoon. And one place that we visited was St. Dominic Senior Care Home. And we learned about the heroics that happened that night and now their road to recovery.
In the height of Typhoon Mawar, these heroes without capes hunkered down at the St. Dominic's Senior Care Home in Barrigada.
I had 17 staff members shelter here with me. We were here for 3 days straight. No one left, just caring for our elders.
As Acting Administrator Kate Kiesling told us last May, nurses and staff protected the elderly residents as shutters ripped off and windows blew open.
I have one staff member who literally blocked her body, used her body to block debris after a window flew open at one of our patients. We're just incredibly lucky no one is hurt or passed. We're very lucky to all be alive right now.
A year later, they're still on the road to recovery, but a lot has changed.
We've had a lot of amazing progress in the last year. I mean, last time you guys were here post-Typhoon Mawar, we had, ceilings coming down, lights that were out, exposed electrical, furniture that was completely soaked and damaged.
They're on demand with donations from the community.
The heartbeat of St. Dominic's is really the individuals in the community that, come out and give whatever they can, whenever they can.
And the elderly and staff?
Our Minamco are great. Everyone's doing well. Staff, it's hard because they also went through incredible hardship, not only here, but then in their personal lives at home. And everyone's great. We had almost $47,000 independently donated from off-island, which was huge for our staff.
While they still have more to do, like replacing their generator, furnitures, and doors, she thanks the community for their support.
Thank you so much for everything. I mean, as individuals, as institutions, we're just so grateful for all the support of St. Dominic's always, and please continue to support the mission.
As the winds calmed, the crowds braved going out to see the destruction Mawar left in its wake. The governor had not yet lifted Condition of Readiness 1. Many rushed to find a place that's open for business. At Onodera's store, some lined up early so they could stock up on food and supplies. Carmen Onodera knew she had to work after the storm passed.
So you said they were calling you during the storm?
Yeah, because, like right after that wind, I'll get messages, because they know me, and if I had it at home, I gave it, like eggs, coconut milk, bread.
And even at First Light, here you are operating.
What's that?
Here you are open and operating at First Light.
Yeah.
Why did you decide, I gotta do this, even though there's other cleaning up to do?
That's because the people, we know they need it. But it's rough, man. I lived all the typhoons.
Others were out sharing similar experiences.
It was really hard. I mean, everything is a mess. Our house is flooded and everything is wet. But I'm thankful that we're still around,
Still alive.
Yes.
In the 12 months that passed, the island still working to get back on its feet. We revisited Onodera's store.
How has the year been?
Still the same. We're not fully recovered, I think we are in some areas, but not all areas.
Do the customers still come in and talk about how they're still in recovery mode?
Yeah.
That's tough. You clearly still do what you did that day.
Yeah, we still do it. Yeah, we still cater to our people. If that's what you're asking, what do? We still cater to our everyday people. Yeah. There's still people that don't have roof over their heads. You see it. It's out there.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh, wow. The aftermath, the day after, I think we were still in Condition of Readiness 1, and people were already leaving their homes, trying to pack up on supplies. We visited the Onodera store here in Dededo. It was one of the closest places that we could go to. The line wrapped around outside the building, if you can recall that, Suki.
Yeah, definitely. And even on our drive there to Onodera store, it was just devastating seeing all the homes that were hit hard by the typhoon and all the trees that were down. But once we got to that store, there were people lining up, as you said. They were there to get batteries, to get water, to get ice. Unfortunately, a lot of these stores did not have ice. That was one thing that everyone was looking for at the time.
Understandably, everyone was very emotional, still shaken up about what they went through. One woman I even remember sharing how the wind was so strong she had to take her mattress to hold up against her windows so that she wouldn't feel the pressure from she was experiencing in her home. But those that we spoke with at the store that day, they admit that even to this day, we're still recovering.
we had to lean forward and to make sure that all of the staff were accounted for, but also ready mentally, physically, and emotionally to engage whatever we're dealing with, because what we were doing those days were to save lives.
Guam is truly a majestic place with its sheer natural beauty, wealth of beaches, and culturally rich landscape. Unfortunately, Guam has a real problem with unwanted invasive species. Help us in preventing their introduction and spread. The coconut rhinoceros beetle, the little fire ant, the African snail, Siam weed. These are just a few of the numerous invasives on Guam. Follow proper custom procedures when bringing plants and animals into Guam.
Help protect Guam. Tell your family and friends about invasive species.
To report invasive species, call 475-PEST.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
Well, one thing that we all kind of share in is the loss of power, water, but for some, they didn't have food, they didn't have a shelter, and that was really hard as a reporter to witness. But thankfully, we got to interview some incredible volunteers with the Red Cross community, the Red Cross organization. So let's take a look at where they are now.
They are the guiding hands that helped our island community back on its feet after one of the most impactful natural disasters in recent years. From ensuring that people had a hot meal every day.
We're delivering 1,100 times 2 a day for all, and these are all divided among shelter. We have 4 shelters open, and also distributing some food for our team.
To making sure those who lost everything to Typhoon Mawar had a roof over their heads.
Right now it's the assessments with the shelters. Now, most of the folks don't have a home to go back to.
Now, a year later, the impact of the collective work by these volunteers with the American Red Cross Guam chapter is still being felt.
Almost everywhere we go, I've got people coming up saying, Mr. Dan, remember me? You were up at 0 day.
When we have a conversation, there always, sometimes it comes up about Mawar. And, we get so emotional and we think, oh, how did we do that?
Volunteers Dan Kogar and Margie Nicholas say their experience during Mawar has helped them to fill in the gaps in their natural disaster response.
We have our own communication system now, like the Starlink, which we did not have before. We have our own radios, so if that happened again, we would have communication and we could respond immediately, or we could not do that after Mawar.
We also have established our vendor, so we already know pretty much who to contact, because during Mawar, it's just like everybody's down, so it's hard for us to get all this meal ordered. And you're talking about the whole island.
Now they say they're ready for whatever comes next. Kogar adding post-Mawar, the FEMA warehouse is stocked with the right supplies, streamlining immediate distribution to the community instead of waiting for headquarters to come to the island. From cooking out of their homes to a brick-and-mortar restaurant in the heart of Tumon, it's a success story Habibi's owners Nadao Ware and Sarah Langsley say is all thanks to the community.
None of this briefly would have happened without the community support. It was a teamwork. Everyone participated in it.
It seemed like the island was in disaster and everyone just jumped in to try to help each other.
It was last May the former catering business, along with friends and volunteers, were cooking up a storm after Typhoon Mawar, feeding thousands from first responders to families hit the worst.
He already knew what to do, how he was going to help the island if it got devastated like other places.
As a sailor, I've spent my life in the ocean. I knew that's not gonna miss us.
Aware has seen his fair share of natural disasters. He knew he had to prepare for the worst.
And I knew that there will not be any commercial kitchen or any place to cook. No power, I knew there will not be water.
Now their dine-in restaurant has a loyal customer base who remember their actions during the community's time of need.
It's certainly the right thing to do. It was the right thing to do. Simple like that. Yeah.
Just want to help whenever we can, wherever we can. That's his motto, and definitely a beautiful motto to adopt and help others.
And to this day, Habibi's making sure their cuisine fills the bellies of even those who need it most.
It's tough to even recall some of the things we had to endure in the days that followed Mawar being here, right? We had to work at a satellite office. Thankfully, our friends at ITV provided some place that was reliable for us to keep our internet services running. Everyone else just started coming together, pulling together. Who braved the gas lines? Everyone, huh?
Braved the gas lines.
I know Vic got some absolutely amazing footage, because Vic, you sent your drone up and you were getting shots from like all over the island, especially like up here with the power plant, which was still being built. I mean, it still is being built right now, but that was incredible.
It was, and mind you, before Mawar, I did a shot there, and having put the drone up after Mawar and just seeing how the power plant just bent like a tin can. It was buckled. It was so crazy to see how strong, and that's how you know how strong Mawar was, not only to like industrial places like that. So it was pretty crazy to see.
Yeah, the winds were incredible, and then also the response we saw from all the federal and local agencies, that was also pretty incredible to see. But there were some scary times. What got us through it, though, were the community coming together and really giving back, as we saw in the story over that we just saw with Mitsuki, that group.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of homes did not have power, and some people, in fact, didn't even have their homes after the typhoon. But this one group, Habibi's Catering, they were working alongside volunteers and friends and just people just coming together to really feed our first responders and the families that were hit the hardest.
A lot of people had damage, a lot of people lost some things, but many people up here lost everything they own. And so it's their stories that are so heartbreaking to see the photos and videos coming out of those villages and those neighborhoods. This is going to be something they remember for their lifetime. But we want to make sure that we think back on this as positively as possible, that this is what rallies an island together as a people, and that we can come together again when we face significant weather threats.
This racetrack has made it possible to make Guam, as mentioned, a center of the world. Racers from the States, racers from Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and so on brings everything together, brings us all together in this part of the world. And that is wonderful in itself.
So in the aftermath of Typhoon Mawar, I remember just coming back to the station, it being pitch black, just having to use our cell phone lights to kind of make our way throughout the station.
With the little battery we had.
And, it was like hot, and around that time it was really, really hot. So it was just how, but we just started the recovery, from there, whether it would be just opening the doors to give us some light to just start sweeping out the water, removing stuff that was damaged from the water. But it was really just like all hands on deck kind of thing.
Well, and a couple that I had a chance to sit and get their perspective on what they did was Pat Lucis and his beautiful wife, Jenny. They stay like right across the street there from our studio over in Liguan Terrace, and they actually were contacted by almost every single media outlet in the Philippines for their perspective in getting the word out about how things were here and what they could do to help. As leaders in GovGuam and within the Filipino community, Pat and Jenny Lucis have made their mark locally by looking forward, not back. But the emotional tugs couldn't be avoided by the Dedito couple when they remember that long and frightening evening that Mawar passed over northern Guam.
It just brings back all the terror during that time, and trying to keep my family safe, and trying to get the word out, and trying to make sure my family who are out there are safe. And yeah, it's just painful times, but I'm glad we're in a happy time now.
We survived.
Yeah.
The morning after, and despite a loss of power and water, their ability to communicate stayed on as they were contacted by numerous media outlets out of the Philippines for their on-the-ground insight into conditions and where to go for help.
Before, during, and after Mawar, we were getting calls left and right for interviews. We had over 10 different interviews, and at the time they were asking us how our Filipino community is doing throughout the island. And so we were in touch with many of our officers and our members who are living in different parts of the island. And we wanted to also do something for those who were in need, those who were, lost their homes, lost their clothing, food, and everything. And so we did some of our services for the island of Guam.
Now, as they say, the most insatiable appetite is the hunger for information. And Pat and Jenny provided updates all day long.
You know, we had the earliest interview at, I want to say 8 o'clock in the morning, and it would be like almost every hour, every 2 hours, and they won't stop until 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. We have radio stations calling and said, hey, some things we're on one interview, the other one's calling and say, hey, can we get you in? And so it was pretty hectic. We had to take turns. Hey, you get the 1:30, I'll get the 2 o'clock.
Jenny had dabbled with social content creation before, but this new opportunity gave her the confidence and experience to develop a new voice, one she continues to use today on YouTube.
For me to share what our experience was, like, this is what happened, this is how it looks right now after the Mawar the next morning, what, like, all the tables out, the chairs are like flew away and stuff like that, and what our neighbors. So it's really like giving information visually.
Pat's a longtime public servant, a proud Filipino, and a man of faith. But first and foremost, he's a dad looking after his babies. And Jenny wasn't about clout or trending or influence or boosting her follower count. It was always, for the both of them, about doing the right thing.
So the first day actually was, all we did after the Mawar was all the interviews. We didn't even clean up and everything. We cleaned up after. So it was like, okay, let's take this responsibility. They want to know what happened. Whatever information they want, let's just give it to them.
And after a week of post-typhoon cleaning, interviews, and checking on their friends, the Lucis family enjoyed some normalcy, sharing a proper meal together on their porch. With Pat, of course, working the grill, and camera operator Jenny chronicling the experience to tell everyone that things were finally all right.
These are the most treasured memories, treasured moments. Just to have all of us together and be a family and just have a meal and share stories.
This is what we experienced for 3 weeks, no power. This is what we did. We're charging our phones in the car. We were sweating.
And the long gas lines for like
the long gas lines.
5 hours.
It was, yeah, it was scary before, but now when looking back, it was, it's like we look at it like we survived.
All of you are doing well and staying safe during this recovery period.
destruction. That's one word to describe what Typhoon Mawar left in its wake. You can see the destruction left here behind me, the damage, solar panels, trees, other items, all ripped off. This is it. This is where it all happens. This is where the assistance that you need, and if you have questions you want to ask in person, they'll happen right here.
The water is still out, but again, this water source is available for everybody who needs it. So this is the report for now. I'm Destiny Cruz reporting for KUAM in Manila.
All right, well, this is Eternal Water Store in Harmon. For now, I'm Mitsuki Hirayama reporting in Dededo. But we will be sure to bring you more coverage throughout the island of how you guys are faring after Typhoon Mawar.
What an incredible journey this has been with all of you. I think the plus side is it's much cooler inside our studios, right? You can't complain about that, but just so much devastation that we had to endure. I love seeing that our island is green again, and everyone is coming together. For me, the experience is one I do not want to go through, but a clear reminder that we should always stand ready and be prepared for anything that Mother Nature sends our way.
Yeah, I guess for me too is the same, sharing the same sentiment as you, Nick. It's really, we've had so much typhoons in the past, but we've always had this mindset like, it's just gonna pass. It's just one of those that's gonna pass.
But your dog Lambo knew better.
Yes, he did, and we had him here during the typhoon. So just seeing this one and just going through it, I guess for me, it's like preparation is always key. Knock on the wood, if another one has to come. So yeah, that's just to be prepared and be ready.
Well, real quick for me is I was fresh out of high school in the early 90s and everything. So I went through that whole string of typhoons for that whole decade period and even, afterwards. But these are things that every Guamanian has to know and will experience. We heard from Landon earlier in the show is, this is going to happen again at some point. So these are things that we have to know and be prepared for. And I think like our community is so much better prepared now.
I think for me, it's not to take the littlest things for granted. Like afterwards, things that like internet, where we rely on it so much, and just having to make contact with family off island or even news stations abroad that were wanting to know what happened here, and things such as like a cold drink or ice or a hot meal or whatever. Those things were like they were scarce during that time for like 2 to 3 weeks, and it's just things that you just have, when you look at it, it's like you have to kind of appreciate it a little bit more. So
I agree with that. I've never been more grateful to have ice in my freezer than after Typhoon Mawar. I would never complain about the cold aircon again, maybe here and there, but definitely prefer that over the heat. But yeah, next time around, God forbid if we ever do have another typhoon, but knowing Guam, we probably will. But next time I feel like I will be better prepared. Got to stock up on water this time, gas my car, do not wait in those long lines in the aftermath. But yeah, and I will be ready and more prepared to hunker down and weather the storm with you guys all.
Aw. Well, I think one thing that really stood out to me a year after Mawar was definitely the resiliency of our island people. Like Jace mentioned, and Suki, it's bound to happen. We're going to have a typhoon again. But so many of the people that we spoke with were, in the middle of so much devastation. And the resounding thing that they said is, we're going to get through this. And it's just a testament to how strong we are as island people. And I am so beyond grateful to everyone who has helped, get our island back on its feet.
Yeah, and we're still trying to get back up again, pick up all the pieces as much as we can. Like the title of this special, We Are Mightier Than Mawar. Thank you to our Destiny Cruz, Mitsuki Hirayama, Jonah Gancharfis, Jason Salas, Victorious Falan, and to all of our production team, Mike, Carlito, Pete, Danny, Jacob, Byron, Julianne, who was here as well, helping us with the coverage, and all of them out there who made us still shine and make sure that we got the news and information, even if we had to go out there and physically hand them where to go to get the assistance they needed with FEMA and Red Cross. It was very important, and we did it without hesitation. So I want to thank each and every one of you for the effort that you put into it and the time you took away from your loved ones and your family members as well, and I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much, and thank you everyone else for joining us for this one-year special. We'll end on that note. Until next time, catch you on Prime Time. Thanks for watching.